What's up guys, today is going to be a full day of eating after having done a weigh-in that was quite a lot lower compared to the last day, because I want to show you exactly what I personally do in terms of carb cycling when you do weigh in the morning and you weigh a kilo or 2.2 pounds lighter compared to last day, compared to yesterday, when for weeks or for at least 2 weeks you've been quite at a stable weight. So that means your body suddenly responded to something. Could be fluid, could be intracellular fluid, extracellular fluid. That depends also how you look in the mirror. But today is just going to be a full day of eating. I'll show you guys a change in my diet again in about, we're in about 8 weeks out right now. So 8 weeks out from the Mr. Olympia. Anyway, let me show you the weigh-in and tell you what we're going to do about it. All right, this is a scale right here, just a digital scale. And you can see 115.8 kilograms. You can see the pound right here as well. And if we then take a look at the graph on, for example, MyFitnessPal, because I do recommend you guys, if you do weigh in every single morning and you don't want to be discouraged by a weight gain all of a sudden or a weight loss, then you have to fill in a graph and don't act unless and until you see a change that is very different compared to what you saw before. So let me show you that right now. Okay, so when we look at MyFitnessPal right here, which is this app on my phone, you can see this graph at the top, and that graph represents all the weigh-ins that I did, the last couple of months. So you can see that my weight is going up and up and up as I scroll down, and you can actually see when I started, let's see, my true off season, you can see that the weight was, maxed out around 127, actually went up to 128 in the morning one time, but you can see it's slowly going down here as I did a mini cut, and then I didn't go up anymore. And if we go all the way up, you can see right here, this is where the true prep starts. So 119 here for a while, 118 for a while, 117 for a while. And this is the longest while because you can see October 7th, 117 kilograms, and all the way, some changes in between, but all the way to this date basically, it remained the same. And when you're in a prep, you do want the numbers to change. So if you look at the graph, you can see the line going down with up and down peaks. And if you look closely, with every peak that goes up, or with every peak that goes down rather, there will be a little peak that goes up as well. And that is important because you don't want that down slope to crash down too quickly, because then your prep is going too quickly and you will lose strength, which you really can't get back when you're in a caloric deficit. It's very difficult to do that. So what I'm doing now, as you can see, yesterday, October 28th, I was 116.8 kilograms and now I'm 115.8 kilograms, meaning that I lost a whole kilogram in a day. I told you guys this might be several reasons, but I did nothing different. And because the last, almost, 3 weeks, I weighed the same, and now all of a sudden I dropped the weight. I have changed my diet just a little bit the last couple of days, a little less rice. But this means that I can now have a high day to offset that big weight change, and then the next day hopefully I'll weigh around 116.2.3 for example, to normalize that weight loss and to make sure that it's just going to be fat and not too much muscle fullness, not too much strength loss, and that we're nicely going to my weight limit of 112 kilos. All right, I'm outside now doing some cardio, and the number one mistake I see people make when they lose more weight than they thought they would, they actually lower their activity levels in order to then burn less calories throughout the day. That to me is not the way to do it. You don't want to change your output at all. So if you do an hour of cardio a day, keep doing it. Just increase the input in the form of carbs. Because when you take in more carbs, you get some fullness back, you get some muscle glycogen back, and when you get that back, you get strength back. And that is what will keep your muscle in a caloric deficit. Okay, I'm back home now. Did a walk for about 30 minutes with the dog. I'm gonna do probably around another 2 20-minute walks today to get to 9,500 steps. That's my goal for every single day. And once I reach a plateau, I will increase that goal by 500 steps every single time, in concurrent to maybe changing the diet. But it's always going to be little steps, so I don't have to do 20,000 steps at the very end. So normally at the previous Romania Pro show, I did maximum 11,000 steps at the very end. So I don't think we're even going to get there, which is very nice. The less effort my legs have to do, the fuller they will become at show day. But anyway, let me show you the breakfast, the first meal of the day. So, it's going to be cream of rice. This normally is only available in America, but somebody from Europe who actually had it in their country sent me a whole lot of these a few months ago. So I'm very happy that person did that, because now I can use it throughout my prep to the Olympia. So partly thanks to you, I'm able to eat this perfect food. What is cream of rice? It simply is ground rice. So it's rice, it's ground up. You also have rice flour, which is, for example, this. That's way finer, so it's a different texture, and it doesn't absorb as much water compared to the cream of rice. So normally I take about 110 grams of oats. We're now going to take 150 grams of cream of rice. So let's put it in here. Let's see if it's enough in this package. Nope. So let's grab another one. Okay, so added about 600 mils of water. This is 150 grams of cream of rice. Added 7 grains of Himalayan salt. And I'm gonna put it in the microwave for about 11 minutes. Now this to me is the perfect consistency. It is a little too thick if you'd eat it just on its own. So we will add 100 grams of frozen blueberries. They will loosen that right up when I mix it in with that whisker right there. So this is 100 grams frozen and just really short. When you actually freeze the fruits, they retain more of their nutrients, so more of the vitamins and minerals, compared to if you leave the food just in the fridge or outside of the fridge. So it is my advice to actually do freeze your strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, or even buy them frozen, because the moment that they're picked from the plant or the tree or whatever, they lose their minerals and nutrients already. So the moment they're frozen, it's frozen in time, so all the vitamins and minerals are still right there. So contrary to what we all want to believe, that frozen food is less healthy compared to fresh food, for some fruits it's the opposite. So for blueberries, for example, take the frozen variant. Anyway, we'll be adding this. Also 60 grams of whey isolate with an incredible 91 grams of protein per 100 grams. That is the highest I've seen on the market, which means this is a true whey isolate, isolating out the lactose and the fats. And we're also going to add some cinnamon and show you the end result here. All right, so this is the end result. As you can see, the consistency right now is perfect. We have the blueberries, we have the 60 grams of whey isolate, but I also added 10 grams of chocolate, Callebaut Callets, 80% dark chocolate. This is the only fats I'm adding to this meal. Normally, I also add peanut butter or almond butter, and the rice, cream of rice would be oatmeal. So the carbs will be lower and the fats will be higher. So you can see the difference in macros right here compared to those two meals, and you can also see it in the description below. I also added, of course, the kiwi, which is never lost. A lot of vitamin C, enough of it, nice fibers, and a lot of other phytonutrients also in the skin, available more than in the flesh, which is why I keep the skin on. Anyway, let's enjoy. Alright guys, it is time for the second meal of the day on this high calorie carb day. Well, mostly a high carb day, calories won't change it that much. So the second meal of the day, let me show you what it is. So right here I'm cooking some rice away. Normally the rice will be 40 grams that I put in the pan, and it's actually pandan rice. I don't know if you guys have this in America, for example. I know you guys have jasmine rice, basmati rice, sushi rice, stuff like this, but this is pandan rice. So macros are pretty much the same for every single rice kind, but this fluffs up nice and big. It's just you know, slightly different texture, slightly different mouthfeel. So I always like to experiment with different kinds of rice. But anyway, I put in 80 grams of the rice in this pan, and the color is caused by a spice mix. This is an Indian spice mixture. We have turmeric, which is very important, coriander, mustard, cumin, fennel, black pepper, all kinds of incredible spices. So those are the ones that will make the rice taste amazing, and then also add some salt, of course, for flavor and the benefits of the electrolytes. Now, and this is very interesting for sure. What we have here is the protein source, and these are scallops, as you can see right there in the package. Fresh scallops, and it's 270 grams in here. Per 100 grams, 17 grams of protein. So that's very nice, but the nicest thing is 0.9 grams of fat and 3 grams of carbs. So very little other stuff except for the protein, a very lean protein source. But we have a high protein diet, so we're also adding a very secret ingredient here, which is just as luxurious as these scallops. It's actually octopus. And you might think, wow, that does not look that appealing. But trust me guys, if you ever go to an Asian restaurant and you have good, well-prepared octopus, it's going to taste absolutely amazing, and it has even better macros than this one. Above 20 grams of protein, and even I think less fat, and of course less carbs, because it's a protein source. But combining these two and a luxurious meal will be amazing, and it will look amazing as well. So I'm just going to prepare all of this, adding some cucumber vegetables, and I'll show you the end result. Now this is what I mean when I say that the meal can look delicious when finished. You can see the scallops right here. You can see the octopus right here in just little pieces, so you don't notice anymore in terms of what it really is, but the flavor is there. We have some golden rice, mainly because of the turmeric, and also some Himalayan salt right here, and some very low FODMAP cucumber, because I don't want this meal to be heavy at all, because we're increasing the carbs, pretty much double the amount of carbs. You can see the macronutrient differences right here. But since the carbs are increased, you don't want your stomach to be any fuller, so you only should use vegetables that are very easy to digest. Anyway, second meal of the day, let's get it done. Okay, the next meal will be the exact same amount of rice. However, this rice was already done. I already cook my rice in 40-gram portions. So on a high day, I just combine two of these Tupperware boxes, and I have 80 grams, obviously. We also added some pumpkin already, because I'm going to the gym right now and I'm gonna work there and then eat this meal there, and it's more convenient to take the pumpkin with me than a cucumber, because you don't want to put cucumber in here and then warm it up. It's gonna be a mess. You also want to add that raw. But this is also very low FODMAP, meaning it won't cause gas, it won't cause bloating, it's gonna digest really quickly. Here we have the protein source. Trust me, this is incredible. This is a fresh white fish. It's pollock fish. Normally this is packed in cubes and frozen and packed together real tight. And then it tastes very subpar, but it is very cheap, so it's very popular here in the Netherlands. If you can get the fresh version, it's still pretty cheap. This is about 10 euros per kilogram of fillets. So it's not expensive at all in my opinion. So this is a very high quality, low fat, high protein source of fish, and time for the workout. Alrighty guys, I just got back from the gym. I did some back, it was an awesome workout. Of course recorded it for the channel, so expect that back workout to be up very soon. Wearing the new VG gym stringer in navy blue. Pretty amazing. I'm wearing double extra large, so it's quite long, but I really like that. Opens it up, frees up your back when you're actually training it. Anyway, the meal right now is the meal with the most carbs because it's the post-workout meal. But before this meal at the gym, right after the workout, I had a whey isolate shake, 60 grams of whey isolate by Become Gladiator, so by my own brand, so a lot of high quality protein that is digested really quickly. Also some grinds of Himalayan salt in there to, uptake the electrolytes right after the training that you actually lost. And during the training I also grinded some Himalayan pink salt and some EAAs in my intra-workout drink into 2 liters. Anyway, let me show you the meal that I'm making at the moment. So this is actually the rice that I'm cooking. So the post-workout carbs will be rice, as you can see. This is for both me and my girlfriend, so don't think it's all for me. She has 75 grams and I have 150 grams of rice. Normally it's about 110 grams, so I'm not doubling it now, but I am upping it. And this is the protein source for me. It's 250 grams of Nordic salmon steak, high quality one. I made sure to purchase the one that is actually more wild caught. The quality of this is amazing and it tastes amazing as well. Very different from the grocery store salmon for sure. So you might wonder, why, if you take your post-workout meal, do you add fats from the salmon? Well, it's very late and I need the salmon meal in the day regardless. And when you're in a caloric deficit and your insulin sensitivity is very good anyway, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter that much if you have a high day to add the protein source with high fats in there that are actually good for you, because mostly if you train early in the day and then you have a post-workout meal, which is usually the biggest one, and then you add fats, it's going to slow down digestion, slow down absorption, and that might have a chance to mess up the rest of the day in terms of the meals, in terms of how you feel, especially when you're doing a bulk. When you're cutting, there's less chance of that, and when you're an active person and you want to do something active later in the day as well, then you want to be recovered as quickly as possible. For example, if you train twice a day, then you don't want to have your post-workout meal to contain any fats at all. During the lean bulk, I don't put any fats on my post-workout meal either, but on a high day, during the contest prep, to me it doesn't really matter as much because you're in a caloric deficit anyway, even on a high day for sure. So the carbs here aren't that super high and the protein and fat source is of very high quality. I also add some vegetables to this meal. The vegetables are in here. Just some simple, easy to absorb, easy to digest vegetables. Some zucchini, some bell pepper, and that's pretty much it of those vegetables, right? Yes. Oh, actually some yellow carrots as well. All of those 3 are low FODMAP vegetables. They won't mess with digestion, they won't bloat you. So my opinion is, if you have a big meal in the day and then you add a lot of broccoli or Brussels sprouts or cauliflower or any other vegetable that might cause bloating or gas, don't add it in those meals. If you do really want those very healthy vegetables, but you know they cause gas, add them to your smaller meals so they won't cause as much discomfort. Look at these beautiful meals. So this one is for my girlfriend with sous vide chicken with a satay sauce, if you know that. And this is my salmon meal. Just amazing. Here are the macronutrients right here, and I'm just going to enjoy this meal. Finish it off with some dill. Very delicious as well. So let's enjoy this as the post-workout meal. Alrighty guys, just had that meal, which was very delicious, and now we're still going to do some cardio with the dog right there. And it's not really cardio in my eyes because it's always practical. Always take either Dexter or the dog, and I just want to look at my watch and see how many steps I took. If I took enough steps, I simply wouldn't walk or did a very short one. But now I see that I still have like 3,000 steps to go before I hit my goal of 9,500. So that's what I'm doing right now, is going outside. It's about 10:30 p.m. right now. When I come back, I think I'll then have my fifth meal of the day, or depending if Dexter is awake, give him his bowl first, because his food is even more important than mine. Anyway, let's do this. Let's get this couple of steps in and get back home in the warm, cozy house. Okay, time for the last meal of the day, and it's going to be some eggs. This actually is 200 milliliters of egg whites and 2 extra large eggs. So it's not just large eggs, but actually extra large eggs. I think they're 70 grams each instead of 60 grams. So a bit more egg yolk, a bit more egg whites. This is the protein and fat content of the meal. And actually, no more cheese. I used to add these 20 plus cheese slices, which actually had a lot of protein compared to fat in there. Tasted amazing, but I'm taking them out now as I'm getting closer to the show. The food will get cleaner and cleaner. Okay, and this is the second part of the meal. This is the carb-rich source with also a little bit of protein. So this is actually the carbs, 7-grain breakfast normally. So let's see, the ingredients are whole wheat flour, a little bit of corn, a little bit of rice, a little bit of other types of flour. So mostly whole wheat flour basically. And I'm choosing this one instead of cream of rice because this actually does contain the fiber that I want in the night, because after this I won't have any more meals. So I'm going to bed after this. Still have to feed Dexter though, his turn is next. But what I also did is add 10 grams of this psyllium husk. This really is the most amazing fiber. It absorbs most water compared to any other fibers, and it allows the passage of any waste in the intestines to go a lot smoother. So if you have any problems with that and you know your fiber intake isn't sufficient, this will help you. Also added 30 grams of whey isolate by my own brand. Actually added a little bit of Himalayan pink salt, and also 2 grams of magnesium citrate, and it'll allow me to sleep and relax a lot more easy. And the red color is caused by frozen raspberries, so that's really amazing. This is really tasty, and this is a lot more carbohydrates compared to before. Normally it's 40 grams I put in here of the whole wheat flour, and now I put in 100 grams, so it's more than double the amount of carbs before I go to bed. I'm really curious what I'll wake up at. Okay, so the next day I actually weighed the exact same, and so I did another high day just like the one you saw in this video, and the day after that I weighed 300 grams more, 116.1, and I kept maintaining that with my regular day, so I didn't do the high day anymore. And yeah, been steadily losing weight until then, because right now it is November 6th, so I'm now 6 weeks out, and I still have a lot of footage for you guys. But as you know, well, as you may know, may or may not know, with a son, a newborn baby, sometimes time flies away and you can't find it back until it's 2 weeks later. Anyway guys, thank you a whole lot for watching. There will be a very cool video up with number 2 bodybuilder in the world, William Bonac. A chest workout with me and him. He actually teaching me some things, because number 2 in the world, you can't argue with that. Anyway guys, thank you for watching, and don't forget to stay golden.